my name is Kristen and this is Kristen Cray's Books. I'm here with my September TBR and I am participating in one month-long readathon in September. I'm sure there are a few weekend readathons that I want to participate in as well, but this will just focus on Battleathon. And that is hosted by Mel from Melanie Reads, and I will leave a link to the announcement video down below so you can get all of the details. I am on the Blue Dragon team. There is a quiz you can take that will help you decide, and that's where I ended up. And I'm really excited about it. There are month-long prompts and then weekly prompts. It's really fun. You'll understand it all if you watch Mel's video. But because I'm on the blue team, I get bonus points for reading books that are by new to me authors, so that's an easy one. I definitely have some new to me authors on here, some repeats as well. You also get more points based on your rating of the book, so I'm trying to focus on books that I think will be 5 stars, at least 4 stars or above. And then the week 1 prompt is that it has to have a mystery element to it, and I do have a couple on my list that have that, so I'll make sure to read those during the first week of September. And other than that, I have book clubs, buddy reads, just things that are on my radar, so let's do this thing. So the first thing I want to do is talk about the 2 books that I am in the middle of. I am reading Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, and that is for Tori's book club. I will leave all the information to all the book clubs that I talk about down in the description. And I was really loving that book. It was just so many other obligations happened. It's a long book, it's only on Kindle, and I just haven't been reading on my Kindle very often, but what I've read so far, I love it. And it is about a girl who is the heir to a kingdom that she had to flee from, and she has this deep connection to dragons, and it's all about her trying to get them back. But it's really interesting, so I'm loving that, and I love Tori, so I want to finish that book so I can read her September pick, so that'll be my TBR as well. And then the other one that I'm in the middle of is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I am 50 pages in, but what happened was, let me grab this. What happened was that the end of the month was coming and I realized I had to read this beast for my own book club, the Book Checkout Book Club, and the discussion for this is on Sunday. And it is Thursday when you're seeing this, Wednesday when I'm filming it. So I have some serious reading to do. Didn't help that I had company for 5 days. So yeah, I just didn't plan very well. So I had to put everything down to focus on this. But what I have read from Half a Soul, obviously I was loving it. You know that I'm gonna love something like this. It's following a character who was cursed by a fairy and now only has half a soul. So she doesn't express emotions in the way that everybody else does, but she's such a likable character. And we're leading up to a romance here, but it's fun. I love the banter. So yeah, I need to finish that. So speaking of Tori's book club, her September pick is another giant book, and this is Heavenly Bodies. And I've been seeing some great hype for this, so I'm excited that it's chosen. It is over 600 pages, and I do have to read it on my Kindle, but I am determined to read all of the things in September. So it says, I defy the stars. In a world where no entities exist but the stars, cruel and merciless gods that watch over the world, Alara has been cursed by fate, a prophecy that promises that she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. So yeah, that sounds really interesting, and there's a lot of hype around that one, so I'm excited about that. And then for my friend Beccie's book club from Bex Reads, she has a witchy book club, so you know I want to participate every single month. And the book that we did in August was a winner for me, so I'm excited to do September, and the book for that is The Witch Haven, which I think is a YA. I've heard it's kind of dark academia with a side of romance, so that sounds like something that I could really like, and you know that I'm all for all the witchy books, so I'm open to anything. It says that it is a historical fantasy, and I love historical fantasy, especially if there are witches involved, so that makes me even more excited. And it says it follows a young woman who discovers she has magical powers and is thrust into battle between witches and wizards, and it is set in 1911's New York City, so yeah, that should be a good one. Next up we have Hannah's book club, Spelled by Romance, and you can find her book club on her Discord, The Hideaway. I'll leave that down below for you. But I sadly had to DNF the August pick, but I know I'm gonna love the September pick because it's Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent, who I adore. I loved The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I read the novella in that series, Six Scorched Roses, which I actually even loved a little bit more. And this is another book that is within that world, but can be read as a standalone, and there are vampires, and I'm hoping to maybe film a vampire vlog if I can squeeze it in September/October, even though there are no vampire books on my TBR except for this one. I guess it'll be a surprise for you if I get to that, so we will see. But yet I am quickly falling in love with Krista Broadbent, just like everybody else is, so I'm excited to have a book club to discuss that book with. I then have 2 buddy reads. The first one I'm so excited about. This is Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, and I am buddy reading this with Tara from Tara Talks Books, and we met through a live and we got to talking about Kennedy Ryan on there, and we both had a copy of this, so we decided to buddy read it together, and I'm so excited about it because Kennedy Ryan is quickly becoming one of my favorite romance authors. I've heard that this one is especially emotional and there are some trigger warnings to look out for, especially when it comes to domestic violence, so I think that's important to know before you take this book on. But I trust Kennedy Ryan to handle themes like that in a respectful, accurate manner because I just know from past experience that she's able to do that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this and to maybe becoming like a sports romance kind of person, because I've only read a couple and I know that people love sports romance, so maybe this is the way that I will fall in love with it too. And then of course Kate and I have a buddy read for Fairy Loot in September, and I think the one that we settled on is City of Dust by Tara Sim. We change our mind a lot, but I think because the Fairy Loot pre-order is happening for the second book in October, we wanted to read that one in December, and this is a Jin story. And you know, if you followed me in June when I was the host of Team Jin for Once Upon a Readathon, that I discovered that I love stories about Jin, and this was on my radar. I just never got to it. It is a bigger book, and I'm so excited to finally pick that one up. So yes, I'll be buddy reading that one with Kate. Next up, I have 2 audiobooks, ALCs, from NetGalley that I would love to get to before October, because I think they both come out in October. And the first one is Starling House by Alexi Harrow, who will be new to me author, and this is a book that I wanted to read as soon as I saw the cover. I've always been curious about this author, even though she seems to be hit or miss for people. I have a feeling that I might like her stuff, and this is a grim and gothic new tale about a small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried and a sinister house that sits at the crossroads of it all. So many buzzwords. Gothic, I love. Small town, nothing better. A house that is sinister and a character itself, all I need to know. So I can't wait to listen to that one. Hopefully I become an Alexi Harrow fan. Either way, I will get points for the readathon, and maybe that will be my first book of September because I assume that has a mystery element, so it will work. The other ALC I have is After the Forest by Cal Woods, and this is a debut. It says After the Forest is a dark and enchanting fantasy debut from Cal Woods that explores the repercussions of a childhood filled with magic and a young woman contending with the truth of happily ever after. And this is actually a Hansel and Gretel retelling. The main characters are Greta and Hans, so that'll be an interesting twist, and maybe we'll get witchy vibes in here. 20 years after the witch in the gingerbread house, Greta and Hans are struggling to get by. Their mother and stepmother are long dead. Hans is deeply in debt from gambling, and the countryside lies in ruin as people starving in the aftermath of a brutal war. Greta has a secret, the witch's grimoire, secreted away and whispering in Greta's ear for the past 2 decades. And the recipe inside that makes the best gingerbread you've ever tasted. As long as she can bake, Greta can keep her small family afloat. So interesting. I didn't look too much into the synopsis of this one. I was just running by the cover, but that intrigues me. You know, I love baking, I love witches. This one definitely seems to be on the dark fairy tale side, so hopefully I love it. And then another one that I actually have with me, I should say that I'm separated from my books right now, but I do go back home on the 10th of September, so I will be back with all of my books because I do physically own quite a few on my list, but one that I actually have with me is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is a cozy fantasy. It actually says a cozy fantasy steeped with love. So I think that this one actually has a cozy mystery element too, so it would also work for the first week of September, and since I do have it here, that's also a good option. You know fall's coming. All I'm going to want to read is cozy fantasy. I'm surprised there's not more on my list, but I'll save those for October. And I've just heard great things about this series. I actually found this at Indigo, the chain bookstore in Canada, and I was surprised to find this self-published book there, but I was happy. So yeah, I really am dying to get to this one. Then there's a sequel that I want to get to. It's House of Roots and Ruin by Erin A. Craig. This is the sequel to House of Salt and Sorrow, and I love that book. It really surprised me. I thought it was a standalone. I think it was supposed to be, but then the author put out the sequel, and I'm not complaining. I've had people say it's even better than the first one, which is shocking to me because I loved the first one so much. It was so creepy and atmospheric and gothic, and it was a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. and I think that this sequel follows a character who I won't even say the character's name because it will spoil the first book, but follows a character from the first book who I really, really liked, and I hope that we get the ghost that we got in that first one. So yeah, I am so happy to finally have the opportunity to read that one, and I have it downloaded on Scribd on audio, so I am ready to go. And I think that is it. It doesn't seem like too much when I talked through it, but a lot of these are over 500 pages, which is very much out of my comfort zone, and I am hoping to squeeze a few surprise vampire books in there for you. So yeah, hopefully I am dedicated to reading in September. I was in August, but so many things just came up and I didn't have as much reading time as I would have liked, so I hope September works out better. I'm really excited for all the fall things, to film all the fall videos, to make all the fall recipes, and read all the fall books. I'm just so ready for it. It feels like fall out here. It is so cold already. But yeah, I thank you again for the support. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.